I'm coming from process management, and I had to discover all these softer aspects the hard way.
I definitely also don't want to blindly trust people and then not follow up. That can be sometimes a little bit dangerous. But I mean, obviously, we can only share from our own personal experiences and some opinions. We are not, let's say, scientific researchers in that field. But why do you feel that some people just have a hard time trusting other people? I mean, we probably, unfortunately, have always met some person in the corporate world who was just a distrusting person, very much into control. Why do you think that?
That's really hard to say for me. I'm an IT guy. I studied information systems, and I've been working for an engineering company for years, and this has always been technical. I'm coming from process management, and I had to discover all these softer aspects the hard way, I would say. And I'm still learning, and I'm super excited to learn more about emotions, feelings, behaviors of the people. So that's why I'm so curious to learn more about that, and that's why I'm fighting for the people. So I would say this all here then in the end comes together for me. And now I forgot what the real question was.
Don't worry about it. Yes, why people do not trust other people? Like,
yeah, exactly. I can't really say because I don't know, but maybe they made bad experience in the past. So I think this is often the reason, because their trust was misused by other people. I think that could be the experience. That's why they are controlling the people, or they are just perfectionists and they want to control every single number on the slides and want to calculate if everything is right. So that's for me also an aspect of trusting the people, not going through all the Excel sheets and recalculating all cells there to find out if the employee did something wrong. I think that's super demotivating, and I don't like this approach at all. But maybe the person who is doing something like that experienced something really bad in the past. So that's just my idea. What do you think?
To be quite honest, you mentioned a couple of these things, like based on their own experience. It's actually also interesting. Some people, when they have a bad experience and they really want to be the other way around. So, for example, for a big portion of my life, I always wanted to be a teacher just because I had so bad teachers.
Okay.
Yeah. On the other hand, sometimes you fortify something because it happened to you, so you also have to do it. Like this kind of mentality of this cutthroat. If this happens to me, probably out there a lot of other things are there, so I have to be really prepared. I can't be stupid. To be quite honest, actually a lot in the Eastern cultures, it's very much very competitive, very performance oriented. So often being kind is seen as weakness as well. Often trusting somebody is very close to being naive.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very interesting topic. But you gave actually a pretty good segue into technology, where I want to delve a little bit deeper, when it comes to trust technology, different aspects here. And maybe to segue with a very out there statement, who should actually train people if there's actually a very, very big dissonance between the competence and the responsibility? So if I could be responsible for back to the hospital, for the surgical department, to implement new techniques, and I'm really having the great motivation and intent, but who can actually train these top-notch surgeons? Who should we then trust to do that?
Yeah. That's a real fictional example, or you never experienced that in business, right? That the people being accountable did not have all the knowledge, or that's normally not
all the
case.
knowledge, not even remotely.
Yeah. Okay, so bringing that to processes. there I'm using a concept, a governance or role concept, which we developed together with University of Bamberg a few years ago. That's a framework where we differentiate, for example, between the two roles, the one of the process owner and the one of the process architect. So the process owner, with regards to RACI classification, is accountable for the process design. So that's the one who goes into jail if something is wrong with the process design. That's typically a person on a management level, with all the contracts, that this person is really accountable for what he or she is doing. But as you said, often that person is not the one having all the knowledge. And that's why we, in this concept, introduced the role of the process architect. That's a supporting role for the process owner, which takes over the responsibility for the process design. So typically, that's an employee who is really deep in all the details of the business process on the one hand side, as well as trained for BPM methodology on how to continuously improve the process, on how to manage that, how to develop indicators, how to steer the process, how to develop trainings, and so on. So these are all the small nitty-gritty tasks of the process architect where this person is really an expert in. And that's how, in this concept, we split these two parts. So there is a person accountable on a management level, and we have the process architect who is responsible and who has all the knowledge to do the stuff. And that's how I would approach the same thing, to make sure that you have people around you that have all the necessary knowledge, experience to set something up. But you, as the one being accountable, yeah, take this accountability, and if something goes wrong, you have to take the consequences. And this is what we are using in this concept also in business process management, or in business in general. And that would be my approach to tackle this problem, which occurs quite often in business, I think.
All right, then let's go totally deep into technology, into different waters. Then the process accountability. So that's somebody in management, maybe with a broader sense of experiences, also from other process areas, you know. But that person does not design the process, right? That would be the process or the responsible.
Yeah.
Would you trust AI then to do that?
Yeah, that's a cool question. I just recorded a session with one of the vendors who integrated ChatGPT into their BPM tool. And what they are basically doing there, and I heard that a number of vendors are thinking about doing something like that, but they take the mapped process or the model of the process and transfer that to the AI and ask for ideas on how to improve the process, for possible risks, indicators, and so on. And we took the video yesterday in the afternoon, and I edited it afterwards, and it's really mind-blowing. The ideas are I was shocked because they were so good. So as a co-pilot, I think that's a perfect tool for a process architect to get broader ideas on how to improve the process, to identify risks. In the end, you have to think about, does this proposal of the AI really fit to my reality, to my process? And you have to evaluate whatever AI is recommending there. That's what I would recommend. Maybe we should ask ChatGPT what ChatGPT would do. But yeah, for me, I think it's a tool we should definitely make use of. Yeah.
Right, and thanks for sharing this insight on the architect side. But I wanted to go even one level above that.
Okay.
I really say, let's say the process owner itself, the one who is accountable for it, who is quotes unquotes just saying yes and no to the decision propositions of the architect. Do you think that on that level, if you don't go into the details anyway, at the same time you would trust the process architects to do good things, then actually the AI, or for that matter, also a random decision maker, could actually provide some good decisions after all, no?
Yeah, sure. For evaluation, yes, but in case of something goes wrong in the end, you cannot hold the AI accountable for what is going on there. That's not how life is working right now. So there has to be a person, especially in the business context, being accountable for what is going on. So if you design a process and then an accident happens, and you get into the evaluation of why this accident happened, you can say, okay, this was because my employee was not trained properly, or he did not act according to the process design, or the process design was not perfectly, and that was the reason for this accident. And then in the end, if you have a design problem, it's the process owner who is accountable for what has happened, and therefore the person has to check it and sign it off and say, okay, I'm accountable for this, and I write my signature here, and now we want to work according to this process. And I think this cannot be done by AI. No.
Let's park the topic of AI, but let's stick in the realm of technology. Can you share maybe some of your personal experiences or insights around how technology can make trust maybe more visible, or help also to develop the trust of the actions of the people? Maybe really thinking about, let's say, the practice of BPM.
I think a big part of creating trust is to make the people visible. If we are talking about process design, for example, which is published, and you just have the plain design without knowing names, I think that's often a problem. I would love, as an employee, to know who was the guy who designed this process, who is accountable for this process. And there should be names or even faces, pictures of the people, which is not often the case. If you look into these old school BPM tools, I haven't had a closer look on Signavio for a long time, so I don't know these aspects there. But I think making the people visible, that's a huge aspect on creating trust. So if I, as an employee, know, okay, this process was designed by this and that guy or that lady, and I know her already from the past, so I can trust and I just work according to this process, or I can provide feedback, talk to them, get into cooperation there, a dialogue. I think this will help, definitely.
I have it actually in the collaboration hub, not as a picture quite yet, but always the people's name are there, and of course it is integrated into our other tools. But I really can confirm and underline this importance. I think processes, by experience, to the majority are quite cold and unemotional. We see boxes and we see arrows and we see but I really believe that making people visible really also creates the trust and the emotions towards processes, what makes us passionate about it, right?